Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So it has been an exciting few days. Of course you can see I'm definitely not filming where I usually film, but much has happened. Alright, we are getting ready to do our first load of animals, and we're just taking the trailer for a test drive, making sure the lights are working good, making sure the tires and everything are good, and it's looking good. He's pulling one way and you're pulling the other. You resent this completely. He's like, get away from me! I don't like that! Let go of me, woman! Look, you're gonna really like this, I promise. Come on.
Set me up.
Come on, look, 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 look. Look, your brother's over here. Let's go. Come on. See him? You smell him? Come on.
Close for you, baby.
They all made it, which makes me happy. I was a little nervous, but I think they were better sheltered inside the trailer than they were in the bed of my truck last time. But they're all good. They're loving their new temporary home. Y'all remember that? Look familiar? So, the bucks. So the bucks got moved to Alabama. The chickens got loaded up, all but one. Y'all, it almost went perfectly as planned, except I was going into the coop. You know, we got up in the morning, we were loading up the animals. We left the chickens in the coop because of course we needed to gather them up and put them in the crates to put them into the horse trailer to haul them to Alabama. And I was going into the coop, you know, picking up a chicken, catching a chicken, because of course they don't want to get picked up. Catching a chicken, Mr. Smith would open the door of the coop for me, and then he would open the crate door for me to put him in the crate. And I went in to get a chicken, and I came out with a chicken, and Mr. Smith opened the dog crate door, and one of those chickens flew out of the crate. I mean, like, zoom, out of the crate and up the mountain. And we looked and looked and called. I had bread. I was doing the treat song. I was doing all the things, and she was nowhere to be seen. So she came back that night, Mr. Smith there, you know, in Arkansas, and of course she's scared. She don't know what in the world's going on. She don't know where anybody is. And I feel horrible for her. You know, I wasn't planning on doing another trip here for several weeks because, you know, it was going to be when the rest of the animals came. But y'all, I can't leave her by herself for weeks. So I'm going to have to do another quick trip to Alabama to bring that one chicken here, because the thing is when you have a flock of chickens and you have to separate one or separate, one or two for a while, if they don't see each other for a while, and it don't take long, that chicken that gets separated from the flock, when you bring it back, is a stranger. It is no longer an accepted part of the flock, and it is bottom of the pecking order. And often, not always, but often, that chicken will be bullied and beaten up as an invader. So I can't have her gone. I've got to get her back into the flock as soon as possible. So I think what's going to happen is as soon as I'm done with what needs to be taken care of here, I'm going to have to go back and then turn around and do a zoom, Alabama and back. Because I can't leave her by herself. It's just, and she's scared. She don't know what to do. This morning, she didn't want to come out of the coop because there's nobody there. She's, they have feelings and she's all alone. She's scared. Where's her flock? So my heart's breaking for her. So we got to deal with that. But here in Alabama, y'all, I had to come to the feed store to get some feed for the animals. And I've got I'm at my favorite feed store. I'm going to pick up some feed to take to my friend's house, the ones that are keeping the animals for us. But I could not help myself. I was driving not even a block, a half a block away from one of my favorite antique stores in Coleman. So I had to run in and I picked up just a couple of things, just a couple. I incredible self-control, but they had a whole room that was on clearance and it was 45% off everything. Or 40% off everything. So I've been picking up little trinkets for my coffee bar, coffee related things to decorate my Hoosier. And y'all, I saw this. It was so cute. It looks like a little coffee mill, but it's a vase. So I got this and it was only, I think it was $3. And then I got this little, kind of like a salt and pepper shaker set, but it's pepper, salt, and, hold on, get the other one out, and cinnamon. Now these are probably part of a bigger set. It's just the 3, but I thought it was too cute, and it can go on my little shelf. Look at these. Aren't those adorable? I got this set for $2. And then, y'all, there was there's pepper falling out of the pepper one. So somebody actually used it. So then, okay, I have to show you these. Y'all, there was a booth in there with pottery, and pottery's my kryptonite. I can't help myself. So I got myself a mug, and these are good sized mugs. Now these weren't on sale. This wasn't a sale booth, but I love my earth tone colors. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? $23. That is a great price for a handmade pottery mug no matter what. But look at the size of this one. This is a mug. Only $23. It's Crane Hill Clay is the name of it, the maker. So I got that one. And then, y'all, my friend who's keeping these animals for me, the chickens and the bucks, she loves pottery as well. So I got her one. Look at that one. I hope the colors show up. Beautiful. Same price, same size. Gorgeous. I love those colors. So they had a bunch of them there. All different colors, mostly earth tone, just beautiful, beautiful colors. I'll have to get the price tag off it before I give it to her, but I had to show you. So that's what I got. I spent less than $100, well less than $100 at that shop. And then, y'all, I checked my P.O. box, and there was already mail for me, actually for me, and not just junk mail. Look at this. So there's a little card. It says, Shabbat Shalom. May the wind always be at your back, Constance. The enclosed heart is a bookmarker. Isaiah 43 from PJ. Thank you, PJ. Okay, y'all, here's the bookmark. Look at this. So you put it on the corner of your page, just like that. Isn't that so cute? And then look at this. It's like a little windsock. Look, it's crocheted. Oop, I gotta flip that one around. There we go. Let me flip it like that. Look at this. How stinking cute is that? It's got the little wind catcher at the bottom, and it'll twirl in the wind. Thank you, PJ. That was so thoughtful. That was my first mail in Alabama. So it's so funny because when you put it all together, it reminds me of Hasselback potatoes. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna head on and get the feed. It has been raining like crazy here. Oh my goodness. Everything is so green and lush. And it's been like drought conditions in Arkansas this year. Terrible. So it's crazy how one part of the country can have all the rain and another part of the country can be in a complete drought. Look at this jungle. Oh my heavens. I've got the walkways getting overrun. This is the jungle. Well, this I think is actually kind of supposed to look like that, maybe. But this, oh my goodness, y'all. Look at this. This is craziness. Now, there are some flowers over here, but there's edging in there. You can barely see it. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to be out here working and addressing this a little bit. There's a bunch of stuff growing right in here. That looks like some sort of ground cover plant. Now that one's a weed. That thing kind of goes crazy. But I'll have to start identifying some of these plants to figure out what stays and what does not. There's some flowers there that have reached the end of the season. I'll probably pull off the heads and scatter those. Got some zinnias right there. A little bit, which y'all know I love zinnias. Always grow them. I grow them every summer. I think these were like the black-eyed Susans, kind of looks like maybe, or something similar. There's just a few more hanging on there. The berm pit you can barely see because it's just, yeah, we just got a jungle here. That right there, okay. Now I talked recently about these trees here, these curly or corkscrew willows, and there were several suggestions about having them moved. You know, that one there's about a foot diameter. Yeah, the other one is smaller, but to be honest with you, we don't have a ton of space. Every bit of space that we have here, I'm going to be utilizing. And the areas where I can plant trees, I'm going to be planting fruit trees. Curly or corkscrew willow trees are not the priority. So I'm not going to spend the money to like have them moved. Because that one I think is probably too big. I don't know. That one, I mean, maybe it could be moved. But again, we have limited space. Every bit of this property is already designated as to what it's going to be used for. And like I said, the areas where I'm going to, or where I can plant trees, it's going to be fruit trees. I have plans for fruit trees. I've got plans for berries. Like everything is designated except for this little area right behind the house. That's like the only part that's going to be like truly be yard. Everything else has a purpose. So tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to start working on this jungle, but I'm also going to work on this jungle. Now my friends, you saw, have our old A-frame chicken coop that I gave them. And the plan is for that to come here. My husband has a lot of traveling that he does for his job. And they have like a big trailer that they use to transport that coop. Because it's like, I don't remember how wide it is, 7 feet wide or something like that. So I can't transport that with my truck. We'd have to borrow their trailer or rent a trailer to be able to move it. And so when we get here for good, he may not be there to help us move it. And so in the meantime, this coop is going to do the job. And, you know, it's a good sized coop. You know, when I first saw it in pictures, I thought it was one of those teeny tiny little, like cheap Tractor Supply coops, but it's not. It's a decent sized coop. So my little flock of chickens, because, you know, we don't have very many. You saw them all in that clip earlier in this video. We have not raised chicks in a long time because we knew we were moving. And frankly, because I wasn't selling eggs anymore. I had a lot of chickens when we lived here in Alabama previously because I sold eggs. But in Arkansas, just about everybody I knew had chickens. So, and I just didn't want to be like driving into Fort Smith to sell eggs and all this. My life was not in a position to be able to do that stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to be working on this coop. There's some wire and stuff down in here. It looks like some hardware cloth, things like that. All right. There's a door on both sides, but I don't know if both sides open. You can see it in there. So there's a watering system in there. To be honest, I don't know that I would use it because it takes up space inside the coop. I don't put food and water inside the coop. I just don't. That's never been my thing because it, I'm opening carefully. Opening carefully because you never know what might be inside. I just don't do that because we always had plenty of space for the chickens to run around outside. And I don't like putting food inside because it draws mice and everything else. So what I'm going to do is basically gut the whole inside of this. Take out the roosts that are there. Get all of the stuff that's in here out. And I will build new roosts. So that there's plenty of space for the chickens to sleep in here. And look, there's even insulation in the ceiling. Isn't that great? Yeah, I'm going to clean all this out. So when we come here, if we cannot move the other coop anytime soon, I'll have a place for the chickens. And they'll be good. Yeah, this is like solid wood. It's a solid coop. Not a massive coop. It's actually almost the size of the first coop that I built in Alabama. Almost, not quite. But it's a good sized coop. And it's got the nesting boxes and all that stuff. So that's going to be my project tomorrow. And working out here. I figure do it in the morning while the weather's good. Although the weather's amazing compared to how hot it's been in Arkansas lately. I guess there's been a lull here in the heat wave. So I'm going to take advantage of it and get as much done out here as I can while I can. Unpacking boxes, all that stuff in the evening, and all the joys of moving. That's it for today, y'all. Thanks for joining me here for this vlog style video. Yeah, feels good to be in Alabama, and I'm looking forward to when we are here for good. So, God bless y'all, and I'll talk to y'all next time.